So England have won third place at the World Cup, and that was an unbelievable game, absolutely crazy game. That third place playoff, it went absolutely mad. Almost not far off the record for most goals in a single World Cup game. One of the highest scoring games I've ever watched live. An incredible game, an entertaining game. It's just a shame it couldn't have meant more. But of course, third place, and in the end, a 6-4 win for England over France. It's just a massive win. It's a big win over one of the biggest teams as well, which is something we've still sort of yet to really prove ourselves that we can do when it really matters. But the only thing I will say is in the national rankings, the four that made the last four of this tournament are the top four in the world, and we are ranked in fourth, directly below France. I think there was talk that winning this could move us above them, and whether that, I don't really buy too much into these national rankings and stuff. I don't think it officially determines the best team in the world, but what it could do, potentially being ranked higher in theory, that should give you a better draw for future tournaments. So I think that's something that maybe we could have done for us that got out of this, if anything. So, but I mean, this game was unbelievable. It was a really enjoyable game. I mean, you could argue game of the tournament. It just didn't have that, means everything sort of feel about it because it didn't. It was only a playoff for third place. But I think there was always a thought that the team's being changed a bit. Neither team really have anything to lose. Both teams could really just go for it and just really and sometimes because of that, a really good game can come out of it, and that's what happened. Neither team played with any fear because there was no point playing with any fear, and that's the game we got in. It's just a shame for both teams, particularly from an England point of view, that couldn't have been how they performed in the semi-final, because this could have just been the final. And I think a lot of people now will be wishing this was the final, seeing how entertaining that was. 10-goal thriller. But what I will say is we've not seen the final yet. The final will be in play tonight. That comes later. That could be an incredible game as well between Spain and Argentina. So we'll wait and see. But back to the start. Of course, in Miami again, same stadium that we beat Norway in last weekend. A week on from that, exactly. A week on from that, in fact. Again, so we. First thing is, I mean, I did wonder if both teams would rotate. It was a game that was really hard to predict, really hard to analyse pre-kickoff. It was one of those ones where, because you just didn't know who would start, you didn't know how serious both teams would take it. It wasn't like the other World Cup games where you could sort of try and predict. It was going to be just a complete. You had no idea what was going to happen, really. France, the favourites going into it, and I did go predict a France win, mainly because I thought England would be so dejected. I mean, I know France would be gutted as well. I think mainly the way England looked, the way we threw it away against Argentina the other day, the way it got away from us, 5.5 minutes away from the final, when we, largely from our own doing, that got away from us. But the approach was good yesterday, very positive from the start, and both teams, were up for it and thought, okay, let's give this a go. France we didn't really see that from them until the second half. But first thing we really saw today was the different teams. I mean, completely different setup from both teams. I mean, of course, for us, Dean Henderson comes in goal. Jed Spence, Ezri Konsa and Gerke keep the place. But we do see on the other side, in that right back position, Gerald Konsa, after his ban, come back in. Rice remains in midfield, but this time partnered with Eze, so an Arsenal sort of partnership there in the midfield. We then see completely different front line. Saka finally fit to start, and he's the best player yesterday, which is typical. But Saka finally fit to start. He gets to start. Rodgers in for Bellingham in the usual position he plays, just after the big announcement of his move. Then of course Rashford comes in for Gordon. We see obviously Kane out. Tony gets his first start of the tournament. Something who's not really featured so far in the tournament. But apart from that, couple of minutes where we tried to get it back into Argentina. But France completely different as well. Complete change of back line, which I think was key yesterday. They keep Magnum in goal, but a complete change of back line. But all the back four that have not started this tournament started. See Hernandez, Lacroix, Canate and Gusto will get the start. With Zaire and Rabiot staying with Phil, but then I did wonder if they would take out Procola and Dembele and Desadoy and Cherky come in. Mbappe and Elise keep the place though. So the game kicks off, and very early on England on the front foot. Very early on England make it happen, and we get ourselves in front off the back of a mistake. France it's very sloppy here in the midfield, losing the ball, and then Rice is able to run forward and he's able to finish it off really nicely. We go 1-0 up. So that 3 minutes in, it's not long before we get the second. This time Declan Rice again, clearly over his illness that has been affected him in previous games of the tournament. We see corner comes in this time, what he didn't do against Norway, delivery's on point, and Conte gets heavenly to go 2-up. Really, really good start. Now you're thinking, okay, maybe we'll win this third place thing. It's looking really good from England. And France, just the cohesion that we've seen, the rhythm that we've seen, the fluidity in the attack that we've just gotten so used to, just wasn't there. The structure is all gone. Of course they was having some half chances, but they just wasn't. It just didn't look quite right, and I think largely down to they lost the structure. We went through the back line so easily. I think that's because of the complete change in personnel, the complete change. It was just there's no reason really to not. You can't really criticise really. You might as well just have a look, give a run out to the players that have not started. But that was certainly at this point. It's looking like England are. It's going to be certainly at that point England are the better side. It's not long as well. We keep coming at them. They're creating some half chances, but we're having the better of them. And then Bukayo Saka gets the third goal was quite something because of course Saka he misses, and then Rashford misses again. Then Saka's able to get back up. Rashford's able to play into a position where he's where it's shooting range for Saka. Saka scores. And then it's not long, just on half time, where Saka gets his second of the day, and then with 4-0 up, going to break 4-0 up, completely outclassed France, completely just gone through them really easily. No contest, it was just complete sheer domination from an England point of view. But that said, France, so especially with it being the type of game it was, not really anything to lose. England, we still nearly threw this away as well. Because France, they come out in the second half right up for giving it a go. Elise and Mbappe, they finally link up, and Mbappe's able to get his goal. Which proved to be quite big in the context of the tournament, which we'll get to. It's not long before they, of course, get on the score sheet again, France. Next time around, Bacola is able to get his goal. Mbappe then, just over an hour played, at this point 65 minutes in, Mbappe gets his second. This is a very good finish. And this is his 10th goal of the tournament, put him in the lead for the goal boot race. Got Messi on 8, Messi leading on goal contributions, but overall, as in, goal, I think he's leading on goals created. Mbappe's on 10 goals though, so he's looking, Messi, could we see one last incredible performance from him today to take the golden boot from Mbappe? Who knows? But Mbappe's now leading the way on not only all-time World Cup goals, but the golden boot for this tournament, 10 goals. It's incredible. And this was the one thing about this game, is it could have always had a say on the golden boot, who wins that. With Bellingham on 7 goals as well, Mbappe getting himself up to 10 there, means that he's in the lead for the gold boot race, and now means he's giving him every chance, I believe, now of winning that. Elise on 7 assists as well. It's surely 3 more than anyone. That's surely how much he'll get most in that as well. So really, really impressive stuff in that sense. But yeah, again, falling short for Mbappe. He won it obviously in 2018, but so close, but so far the next 2 tournaments. But by this point though, getting it back to 4-3, England looking like really, really like all over the place now. Really not. Playing very well, to be honest, in this first 20 minutes of this half. Things needed to change. It certainly looked like we was going to throw this away again. Elise then has a good chance to make it 4-all, 17 minutes in or so. It's not looking good for England, but of course, options are on the bench for both sides, and we do see changes made, of course. Most notably, we do eventually see Bellingham come on for Eze, and we do eventually see Anderson on as well. France, I think they made their changes as well. Obviously, Bacola coming on changed things. They changed the back line round to some of the original ones as well, and that I think that improves the structure a bit, made it more comfortable, made the building up from the back a bit easier as well. A lot more used to the personnel that's a lot more used to playing together overall in this tournament. And we see Watkins come off the bench for England as well, gets a bit of a run out in that second half. Barely featured in this tournament, Ian Watkins. But of course, we do eventually find a way to seemingly get ourselves re-establish a fairly comfortable lead, which by this point I was thought, okay, we should probably be all right now. Was hanging on, about 8-7 minutes in the course. Jed Spence is brought down, and of course I give it to Bukayo Saka to get him his penalty, which he slots home, to get his hat-trick, which he slots home, the penalty, and then we're 5-3 up. But let's say France don't give up though. Then in the stoppage time, we see Dembele gets comes to the bench where he gets a good finish, and this is not even the end of it. It's 5-4 by this point, incredible game. But then Jude Bellingham, of course, gets his 7th for the tournament, which is good to see Jude Bellingham end on a good note. Incredible tournament, one of the standout players this tournament, definitely best England player this tournament, historic tournament, one that I have no doubt will be remembered years down the line as an incredible tournament, because he's been fantastic this tournament. Cannot praise him enough, and it's just such a shame it couldn't have been so much more. But third place, we win that in the end after quite a lengthy stoppage time. We win. We go and get third place trophy. No one really over celebrating at full time, but it's just good to end the tournament. Just good to see the smiles yesterday at the end of the game, just to end it on a bit of a high, making the best of a bad situation. Really, France, very, very disappointed for them to have not won that. They look very, very just gutted overall. I think didn't turn up in the semi-final, and yesterday fall short again as well. But it's only not really. There's only so much you can't really celebrate that much. You can't really get too excited about it or anything. It is only the third place game, and these are two nations hoping to win the tournament. It's different. Obviously, some nations getting this far and winning that would mean a lot more to. But as we've seen in previous tournaments, but it's all I can say. It's all we could have done really yesterday, and much has been made about this game on the build up to it, because I understand why they have it. The two nations of this calibre is always going to be a bit of how serious they're really going to take it. Do they really want to be here? A lot of people not really up for this at all. But give it a watching it paid off in him, because it was an incredible game and we got to see England do something. Of course, not what we wanted, not what we would have dreamed about throughout the tournament. But that was it in the end. And it was good for England as well. I mean, we seem like the more relaxed team in the build-up as well. I've wondered if France would just go out and comfortably get the job done against a really sort of dejected England team, being it Chant's last game. I wonder if they would be like, right, we've got to win for him, which I think they tried to do in the second half. I think they really tried to sort of get back into it. But, on the build-up to this, you sort of saw pictures of England players just out, just enjoying themselves in Miami the night before the game, where France want their players asked Chant to do the same, and he wasn't having it. So they were certainly having the more professional build-up, but England really sort of just relished the sort of free hit that the occasion was, really. But yeah, it's all really for those players now. It's about club football now. It's about preparing